What happens to debt taken on after separation and divorce? Imagine you and your spouse decide to live apart, but the bills keep piling up. What happens to the debts you take on after you separate? That's a question many people ask when facing divorce. When a couple separates and moves toward divorce, the debts accumulated during the marriage are called marital debts. These include things like mortgages, car loans, credit card balances, and other family-related expenses. Even if only one spouse's name is on the account, both are usually responsible for paying it back. The way these debts are divided is part of the property and debt division process in family law. Courts aim to split debts fairly, but not always equally. They look at who incurred the debt, whether one spouse used the money without the other's knowledge, and each person's ability to pay. For debts tied to specific property, like a mortgage on the family home or a car loan, the spouse who keeps that property generally takes on the responsibility for that debt. If spouses agree on who pays what, the court will include their agreement in the divorce order. If they cannot agree, the court will decide what's fair based on the circumstances. It's important to remember that a court's order is just between the spouses. Creditors are not bound by it. So, if one spouse doesn't pay a joint debt, the creditor can still pursue the other spouse for payment. The spouse who pays the debt can then seek reimbursement through legal channels. Debts incurred after the date of separation but before the divorce is finalized are usually considered separate debts. This means the person who took on the debt is responsible for paying it. However, this can vary depending on local laws and the timing of the separation. Debts that existed before the marriage remains the individual responsibility of each spouse unless they were transformed into marital debts through actions like refinancing or making joint payments during the marriage. In summary, after separation and divorce, marital debts are divided based on fairness. Debts linked to property generally stay with the person who keeps that property. If spouses agree on how to split debts, that agreement becomes part of the divorce decree. But creditors can still pursue either spouse for joint debts, regardless of the court's order. Courts consider each person's situation to make a fair division, helping to settle financial obligations from the marriage.